Hey, welcome back to the studio, and if it's your first time with us, we are happy to have you. Today we're making plates, and I'm going to show you how to make plates on the wheel that looks like this, using only clay, a little bit of water, mostly a rolling pin. Let's get to it. I saw this technique being done on Instagram last week by Matthew Fitzsimmons. I want to give him credit. So I thought it was really cool, thought I would give it a try and bring it to you guys. I'm only using 4 pounds for this first plate. I'll show you what I did with a 6-pound plate and a 7-pound plate after this. So just place it right in the center. You don't have to hit it down that hard, but hard enough to stick, and then give it a little bit of a pat. You want a little bit of a wider base for this. And then here's your rolling pin. Make sure you clean it first. It's better. So this is a normal, I think it's an artisan rolling pin, something like that, for bread. The curvature of these types of rolling pins is why this works. It tapers on both ends. So that leaves this bottom part bowing ever so slightly, in the top too. So that will give your plate a almost flat but a little bit of a dip, which is great for ceramic plates. And it makes throwing a plate way more easy, way more fun. This involves some stability, so make sure that you're standing stable or sitting stable. Hold on to this very firmly. Lock your elbows in to your rib cage or your thighs or your hips. So just press in the center. You're gonna feel a lot of force here where the clay is pulling into the pin, and right below back here where it's pulling away. And so you'll get clay buildup on the top left and the bottom right. Just keep it level. Just hold on to it with stability and keep lowering it and pressing until it hits the rim of the splash pan. There is a little bit of a method to using the rolling pin to flatten this clay. It's kind of a push-pull action. You'll notice clay building up in the top left corner when you're looking down at your clay, and the bottom right corner, if the wheel is going counterclockwise like a righty. And so you kind of have to push with your left arm and pull with your right arm. It's kind of a push-pull movement. So clay can build up here. It's up to you if you want to remove it or not. Sometimes I do. And then I can actually grab onto here now because I'm close enough. So I can use my fingers to pull on the splash pan, and that creates more leverage to press down easier. Eventually you'll figure out how to push properly and how to pull properly. And as long as you do that with some stability, you'll be fine. When you're about done, if you just stop, it will stick and you'll get marks on here. So when you're done, kind of give the wheel a faster spin and slowly pull this away. I'm going to check my thickness real quick. So I'm about a 1/4 inch from the top of the splash pan. I'm going to keep going. I found that when I had to change speeds while pressing down, that's when I had trouble. That's when the rolling pin caught and twisted, or that's when it bounced up and down and shook my whole body. Your best bet is to have a consistent speed, a good grip, and work on your kind of push-pull movement. Here we go. Let's remove the clay and see how this sits. I'm just below the rim of the splash pan. Look at this. Look at how nice and flat that is. Okay, so next, you'll get some calipers or wing it, up to you. When you get this far, you do want to cut in a little bit. You'll see on an example here that if it stretches out really, really far, sometimes you can overfold and trap air underneath. And then if you don't cut far enough in, you get like an air pocket underneath that ruins your plate. So even if you compressed it really well, cut in 1 inch or 2 just to be sure. I'm gonna do 8 or 7.5, and then the rim will make 8. Here we go. Okay, take a needle tool, very stable. Go. Cut underneath a little bit as well. And peel off this layer. Nice. Here's a bonus too. All this extra clay, maybe you wouldn't have extra clay if you were throwing it on the wheel, depending on who you are. This clay is not soaked. This clay is just regular clay. I can take all of this, wedge it all up, and I can reuse it right away. This clay here was actually recycled wedged up clay from 2 plates before I made this part of the video. So we've got our plate. Now for the next step. Add a little bit of water. This part is kind of like wheel throwing a normal plate, but you have to. And then dig into it. That'll force some clay upward, and from that upward clay, pull your rim a little bit. Making plates can be difficult. There's a lot of compression, a lot of moving your hands back and forth across the wheel, and you always want that perfect flat or even subtly dipped inside of the plate when you're throwing a plate. It's hard to get that. Sometimes when you pull your fist across the clay, it can kind of bubble in the middle. Maybe that's happened to you before. Or you get grooves all the time, if you want grooves or you don't want grooves. Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. With this method, there's minimal water. So when they're done, they are way ahead in terms of drying. If you use a blow dryer for about 5 minutes, you can get it off the bat and then trim it the same day if you want to. Go. And then I'm gonna take, I actually prefer an old gift card for this, or old ID card. Just give this one last flat cleanup. And I sponge this one spot. And that's it. One benefit to this is it dries much faster. You can reuse the clay right away like I told you before. What drew me to it is that it's just so cool. All you gotta do is use a rolling pin, hold it in place. Absolutely no water. Well, I mean, at first, there's no water. And you get this perfectly flat plate. Don't have to worry about like using your fist to kind of pull the clay out. You don't have to cone the clay up and down at all. You just put it on the wheel. You don't have to center it really. Just put it on the wheel, press the rolling pin down, and you're done. So here's the plate that we just threw, and here's one that I threw 10 minutes ago. I used a blow dryer for 5 minutes to get it off of the bat, and it's like almost leather hard. It's a little bit soft, but it's like a soft leather. I could trim this probably in 2 hours, leaving it out in the open. Now this is by no way a means of replacing the traditional way of throwing a plate on the wheel, but it's kind of a cool thing to try. And I imagine with more practice or maybe some more innovation of this method, that maybe it's useful in some way. Maybe it's better than wheel throwing in some way. One thing I can say is that the plates dry much faster. That's a given. You can see these plates are kind of on the thicker side, which I didn't really mind. I'm not afraid of trimming. But in the future, I think I would push down more. And luckily, my rolling pin is shorter than the width of my splash pan, so I could push down below the width of the splash pan if I wanted to. I also wanted to mention that I'm currently having a giveaway on my channel for 7,500 subscribers. Basically, go back to the video before this one, which is Kiln and Unloading number 5, and comment on one of the 3 choices. Comment by May 4th, so I have time to get all the entries together and put out a video that Thursday, which is May 7th, maybe May 8th. I'm also opening up an Etsy store that week as well, and so on May 7th or 8th, we'll have a giveaway and we'll have an Etsy opening in case you didn't win and you want to buy something from Ceramic Jim. People will always throw plates with water and coning and centering, but maybe this appeals to you. Maybe this appeals to you. Maybe this helps. Maybe you can't cone up and down as much or as easily. Maybe there's a physical limitation and this is more doable. I mean, honestly, it blew my mind. So I thought I'd share it. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found value in this video. So get yourself a rolling pin, give this a shot, and let me know how it goes. Aside from that, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on what's to come. And have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.